Hey Brittany, so you're thinking about getting a tiny house, and I think that fundamentally the first question would be where is it going to be? Where are you going to locate it? Because right now my house is located illegally. It's on the street, and according to the laws, a vehicle or a trailer, or a recreational vehicle, a house on wheels, can only be there for like, I don't know, it's like 28 days. I mean, it's a good period of time. Then I'd have to move it like 500 yards or something like that. Um, so where are you going to put it? What are the laws? And if you get lucky and there's somebody that lives near your university, and they're like, I own my land, I own my property, so no one but me has any say on if it's cool that you're here or not, and I say it's cool. And because if someone's renting, they don't have permission from their landlord, or their landlord might change their mind, or the renters might decide to move, you're going to need the same kind of backup plan. If you get a perfect place for your tiny house, and something goes wrong, where's the tiny house going to go next? And how easy is it going to be for you to move it there? So, the basics. Though day-to-day living in a tiny house, it's a challenge. It's like camping. And the reason why I have that tiny little toilet, and my shower a lot of times would be a big plastic tub that I would get in and do like a washcloth shower. So I'd use like a couple gallons of water, because I then need to go dispose of my water. You can't just be flinging open your door and chuck dirty bath water out into the street. You have to take it somewhere and get rid of it. Same thing with the baby toilet. If you go bigger, if you go an actual system, a real shower or a real toilet, then you have holding tanks for gray water and waste, and then there's rules on how that could be disposed. Now, since I'm getting rid of small amounts, the law there is I could put it in appropriate places. They leave that up to me. Appropriate drain. So essentially, I could take it to like a public restroom and empty my water and empty my waste. I use boat docks for the most part, because other boaters are doing that. It looks absolutely ordinary for me to walk up with the toilet turns into a suitcase, to walk up with a white suitcase and empty my toilet there. Same with my water. And like doing dishes and stuff like that. The tiny house produces a huge amount of water. I was surprised how much water I use. Really trying to minimize it. I produce a tiny amount of trash, tiny amount of recycling. It's a challenge. Like the refrigerator thing, you could go propane. Like for heat in the winter, my propane bills are really low. It's such a small space. It's easy to heat. So living in it, it takes some getting used to. I would say try to make your living space as simple and open as possible. A lot of people try to fill it up full of walls and make it look like an apartment, like a place to have visitors over. I don't know, if you live in such a small space, having visitors over, I don't know, it's just a lot easier to meet at the coffee shop. As for where do you get your tiny house, what I saw when people purchase tiny houses, you're going to pay 5 to 10 times more, because it's all the costs in labor. They can be pretty labor intensive, especially if you want it to be fancy. Or you could just buy a trailer like I did, and with some rudimentary carpentry skills. Essentially, I'd got books on how to build a shed, and basically just built a shed. And something that is going to be watertight and warm and lightweight, so it could be towed. I didn't do a very good job on the lightweight part. I didn't work out the math very well. I was a little bit, I was new to the idea. But I could have built the same house in the same condition about half the weight, which would have been smart. And it turns out, in a tiny house, like when you get back to your tiny house, you really only use a small portion of it. I don't spend a lot of time walking around my tiny house, so a living space, I think of it like a very small dorm room. A lot of people have dorm rooms that are just a little bit bigger than my house, and some people share them. But yeah, you know, you need a bed, you need a desk, you need a kitchen, and then everything else, like all the other, like the toilet stuff like that, just slide it into shelves. Everything else can just slide away and be put away. And I share it with a dog. So I would say go for it if you could find a way to, because I mean you're not going to be any worse off if it turns out after 6 months you don't like living that way. Oh, another tip is make sure you have a club membership within a walking distance of your house, because I have like a 24-hour club. Um, so I could do, like, if I want, you know, to take a shower, if I felt like just, you know what, I would like to use a real toilet, I'd like to take a real shower, I just walk over there a couple blocks away. You know, after dinner when I wake up in the morning, they even serve coffee they actually even serve food. I go over there for breakfast, coffee, and a shower if I want, and then, you know, take a yoga class. So I found that really met my needs. I go basic at the tiny house, and then I could go to the club and work out and shower and stuff like that. The food thing's difficult. The whole inside of my tiny house, like the tiny house has been rolling for years now, and it still smells like cedar inside. So I went with like some expensive indoor-outdoor wood that was cedar, and that makes it, it fights mold, it smells wonderful, bugs, it's resistant to bugs, it's resistant to soaking up water. It's really, really good. Yeah, so I think it's exciting. It's a great idea. I think that typing in tumbleweed homes or just do it, like, I really think that it's all up here. Everyone's kind of making it up themselves. I made it up myself. I had some ideas and some plans from shed building, but mostly it'll just be like, what space do you need? How could you make that smaller? And then try it. And then you can make changes or give up the whole idea and move into a dorm, spend a fortune on rent. But yeah, keep us posted, B, on how that turns out, and also on how school is going for you. So, well, I hope this was somewhat helpful. If you have any specific questions, if anyone has specific questions on living in a tiny house, post it in the comments below. All right, everybody. Brittany, pleasure, and the rest of you, see you in the tubes.